League and beating Cal. Bill Covington will throw it up. Isaac Barnett, Anthony Eads are officials. Carter Welling, Carson Tout for the jump ball. Tout a little jumpy, and Welling wins the tip for the 13-3 Clemson Tigers. 3-0 in the league, wins at Syracuse, at Pittsburgh, and Wednesday impressively at home against number 24 SMU.
You can see early the point of emphasis to get the basketball inside the Godfrey. That should open up opportunities on the perimeter for everyone else in white.
R.J. Godfrey wearing 0 is the leading scorer at just 12 a game. Extremely balanced Clemson team, and Dylan Hunter averaging 9 a game has the first 2.
I believe when you talk about balance, you have to look into the dictionary, and you would find Brad Brownell and the Clemson Tigers. You have 8 guys averaging over 5 points per game, and no one scoring over 12 tonight.
Starting 5 for Notre Dame: Logan Imes, Braden Shrewsbury, terrific shooter, and Haralson. The guards: Garrett Sundra, Carson Tout are the bigs. Here's the 6'7" freshman Haralson, who shot is rebounded by the 6'11" junior Carter Welling. A lot of transfers for Clemson, which is unusual for Brad Brownell. Returned just 1 rotation player, that was Hunter. Godfrey, who was at Clemson, went to Georgia and transferred back in, just had his shot blocked, and that's out of bounds. Apparently last touch by Godfrey in the starting lineup with Jestin Porter, Jake Wallin, and Carter Welling.
Garrett Sundra doing a nice job defensively right there. He gave up the baseline to Godfrey, but using his length to be able to get over and block the shot.
Offensively for Notre Dame, Corey, what do you look for early?
Well, when you consider Notre Dame and you think about the fact that you're not playing, you don't have your leading scorer in Burton, this is the guy, Braden Shrewsbury, who's going to have to be aggressive on the offensive end as Haralson knocks down the 3 ball. That has not been his strong suit throughout the year, only shooting 15.4%. But you can see improving and putting the work in from beyond the arc.
He hadn't made one until last game against Cal. He hit 2 early, has another early 3 in the ensuing Irish game. It's a Clemson team that plays at one of the slowest tempos in the ACC. Wrapped into Godfrey by Hunter. Walling gets a quick double team. Can't find an outlet. Tout knocks the ball away, and it's a shot clock violation forced by the Irish bigs.
But look at the size of the trap. You talked about it. When you've got Sundra at 6'10", Tout at 6'8", trapping Godfrey along that baseline where it adds another defender. That's a significant defensive stop for the Irish.
Notre Dame at 10-5, coming off a 15-18 year, 8-12 in the league. They look much improved even without Marcus Burton. Here's the junior Logan Imes, coming off a career-high 6 assists and 8 rebounds, though he didn't score, made a big impact at Cal.
Yeah, and Imes is in the game as he lines up a 3, is able to knock it down. But he's in the game primarily to be the primary on-ball defender. Michael Shrewsbury told us earlier, without Marcus Burton, they need someone who can guard the ball. Logan Imes has been that guy.
Clemson, which never trailed Wednesday against SMU, down 6-2 as Jestin Porter cuts into the lead. 37% three-point shooter with a triple.
And Porter really has been a significant advantage for Brad Brownell and Clemson, giving him the other double-figure score.
Imes stepped out of bounds. Notre Dame's first turnover. 3rd year for Micah Shrewsbury. This program has grown a little bit every year, year over year. Picked 10th in the ACC. They return more than half their scoring, though. Again, a lot of that on the bench with Burton, but he brought in, Corey, a very strong, very well-regarded freshman class.
Yes, and they continue to recruit freshmen, which is almost unconventional right now, but this Notre Dame program is about retention and development.
Terrific find by Welling. Jake Wallin hits an early 3. And the last 12 points in the game have come from 2 Notre Dame 3s and now 2 Clemson 3s.
And great ball movement against the trap. Clemson prepared that time with the trapping in the post to get it out and find one of the shooters on the perimeter.
Here's Imes. An offensive foul will send it the other way, going against Garrett Sundra. Brad Brownell, 16th year at Clemson. Most wins at Clemson, longest tenured coach in the ACC. The win Wednesday against SMU, Corey, that was a real identity win for this program. talking to Andy Enfield before that game, he said, we want it in the 90s, Clemson wants it in the 60s, and Clemson won it in the 70s.
Yeah, and again, that's Brad Brownell's calling card is what they do defensively. He's built a number of great offensive teams, but their core, they're always going to be a good defensive unit.
Moving the ball around very well as Welling misses a three. First miss from deep for Clemson. Braden Shrewsbury, second leading three-point shooter in the ACC at 46%. Had 5 threes against Cal a week ago. Here's a three for Sundra. Too strong and tipped into the hands of Dylan Hunter.
But unbelievable ball movement by the Fighting Irish on that one. That was a play that you clipped even though you didn't make the shot.
R.J. Godfrey bullies inside, and now 4 of the 5 Clemson starters have scored.
It was amazing. We were able to sit in on the Notre Dame film session, and one of the things that Michael Shrewsbury talked about was you got to feel what that first duck in is going to be like. And now Garrett Sundra felt it from R.J. Godfrey on that possession.
Shrewsbury in the lane. Back ribs it. 8 in a row for Clemson, which is shooting 4 for 6 in the early segment. Wallin for 3. In and out. Clemson's first subs will check in after the next whistle. Ace Buckner, Nick Davidson, Butta Johnson all to the table. Here's Haralson. Pulls up for another 3. That one's good as well.
But you can see the confidence growing in Jalen Haralson. We mentioned coming in, he's only shooting 15% from 3, but already 2 of 2 beyond the arc in this game as he continues to grow in his role.
Strong attack by Godfrey, and he draws a foul. Looks like it's the second against Sundra. 10-9 lead. Good shooting early here in Notre Dame.
He's becoming more comfortable, but his coach Michael Shrewsbury told us that he is seeing something different each and every time out.
R.J. Godfrey at the line. That foul was the second on Garrett Sundra. Cole Serta, Brady Kaler are into the game for Shrewsbury and Sundra. John, thank you very much. Iowa State remains undefeated on a day where we've already lost one undefeated team in Michigan here in Notre Dame, Indiana. A team that's undefeated in the league, Clemson, with 2 ACC road wins, looking for a 3rd road win in 4 games, seeking a 4-0 ACC start. And Corey, the Tigers have shot it well so far, 4 for 7. Notre Dame not far behind at 3 for 6. As we get a block shot and a foul, Nick Davidson fouls the Notre Dame big Carson Tout. Early shooting, Notre Dame 3 of 4 from 3, and the big story there, Corey, Jalen Haralson, who had not hit a 3-pointer in his first 13 college games, had 2 against Cal, and he has 2 already today.
And Jalen Haralson also playing the point guard position makes a nice find to Tout on the way to the basket. Michael Shrewsbury told us, whoa, that was a little bit long there when you consider the free throw attempt going glass first by Tout. That kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, he did that against Cal last game, and it had the same result. He's 10 for 24. That one is in.
Okay, so the attempt is to bank the free throw in.
Yeah.
Okay. Unconventional, but effective on the second free throw.
Coaches always told me that square is there for a reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the reason.
11-10 the Clemson lead. Tigers had buckets from 4 starters, which is right in line for an extremely balanced Clemson team coming off a 4-point win at home over SMU. Jake Wallin, this is a 3, and the rebound's knocked out of bounds off of Davidson. It'll go to Notre Dame. If you're just joining us, Notre Dame again without Marcus Burton, preseason All-ACC. He's going to be out for a while still after a broken left ankle against TCU December 5th. Without him, this freshman Haralson has played a lot more on the ball, averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists per game. Ducks inside here, uses the window and puts the Irish in front.
Maybe it's something they work on with the Fighting Irish in second possession where somebody went off glass for at least 1 point.
Wally kicks it to the redshirt freshman Ace Buckner. Clemson team with only one returning rotation player from last year. Buckner sat out the year with a shoulder injury. Here's Chase Thompson, who misses a three. Rebounded by the Notre Dame freshman Brady Kaler.
And one of the things the Fighting Irish have done pretty well thus far is they've been limiting Clemson to one opportunity. Some of them they may, but when they haven't, Notre Dame has not given up any offensive rebound.
Fighting Irish team that won 47-40 at Stanford last week and lost 72-71 in a late 4-point play at Cap. Kaler gets fouled by Davidson, who picks up a quick second.
Jalen Haralson, who has the ability to play with the ball in his hands at 6'7". Once he gets into the painted area, enough size and strength to be able to finish over the top. And Jalen Haralson is the freshman that's not getting enough love when you consider how much we've talked about the freshmen all season long. So many different guys that are playing great basketball. He really needs to be included in that conversation. Over 14 points per game, and that's after only being able to play partially in game 1 of this year. Got a concussion in that game, missed their second game, but since has not had a single-digit scoring game. Off to a great start today. We had a conversation pregame, and he didn't know that he scored in every game, double figures in every game.
Which you were nervous about then, but
well,
he's already got 8. So
he's not at 10. No announcer jinx on my young fella.
14-11 as Notre Dame brings in a couple more subs. Kevin Jai, the 6'10" senior, and Mark Zachary. Carter Welling to the basket. Count the bucket and a foul. Welling, the 5th Clemson starter to get on the scoreboard, can tie it at the line.
And this is one of the things that Michael Shrewsbury talked to his team about. When the big guys from Clemson catch the basketball in the middle of the floor, they aren't necessarily looking to move it side to side. They are looking to play one-on-one, find their way downhill, just like Welling did on the last possession.
66% free throw shooter will tie the game at 14. Dallas Thomas checks in for Wally and for Clemson, so both teams go deep into the bench early.
But they changed the matchup. Now it's Butter Johnson who goes up to try to pick up Haralson, 94 feet, but that's one of the points of emphasis for Clemson. They're not going to allow him to be comfortable. Nice trap right there.
Passed over it to Kaler. Johnson crashes down. Got a piece of the rebound, which is grabbed by Ace Buckner. Johnson. Buckner takes a 3. That's good. Ace Buckner, the 6'2" redshirt freshman, just his 6'3" of the year.
And of course, son of Clemson legend Greg Buckner, who's now with the Milwaukee Bucks coaching. And Ace getting in the scoring column early. He's a young man. He's the only person throughout this season to lead Clemson in both scoring and rebounding in the same game.
Another 3. Haralson has turned into Steph Curry in the last 2 games.
And so now we get a little bit of a look to the sideline because he is in double figures already with 11 points. And now a career-high 3 made field goals.
Welling trying to rip down the rim is fouled again. Pretty entertaining start here. Clemson and Notre Dame 17 all. Looks like
you can appreciate Michael Shrewsbury and his statement afterwards, but I completely understand his reaction. I mean, again, in the heat of the moment, as competitors, you lose it. And again, you're talking about a team that has not been 2-0 ever in the ACC. They had a chance to be able to do that, and with both games being on the road, and to be able to lose it in that fashion, I'm not saying that he was right, because he didn't say that he was right. But I'm telling you right now, I completely understand Michael Shrewsbury's reaction.
It's been a lot more measured this year. Generally, Michael Shrewsbury's got a much better team this year, too. Some good wins for Notre Dame. They were almost the first team to go on that Cal-Stanford ACC West Coast swing and win both. Jestin Porter just took it away from an unassuming Sir Muhammad, an easy pick and score for Porter.
But you can see the difference with Sir Muhammad running the point guard position in comparison to Jalen Haralson, who has handled the basketball extremely well against the pressure. Clemson is going to guard you 94 feet. That's one of the reasons why they play 10 players to keep someone fresh to pressure the basketball.
Braden Shrewsbury's defender Thomas fell down, and Shrewsbury is the 3rd Notre Dame player to bank in a shot.
Yeah, that's more conventional, though. And again, a great shooter like Michael Shrewsbury, it's no mistake when he goes to the glass.
20-19, the Clemson lead. Godfrey, Thomas in the corner. Porter in and out for three. Offensive rebound, Welling. Up with the left hand, no. Kevin Jai rips down the rebound in the crowd. Shrewsbury thought about firing off the screen from Jai.
Shrewsbury should never think about it. It should always happen. When you're shooting 45% from three, it should never be a thought.
And Muhammad's called for a traveler's second turnover. More men's college basketball tonight over on ESPN. Texas and Alabama in Tuscaloosa following our game at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And then A.J. Debonsa and number 9 BYU travel to Utah. That's all following us on ESPN and the ESPN app. Already been a wild day, including the first loss this year for number 2 Michigan, 91-88 at home to Wisconsin. Welling denied at the rim. Both Kaler and Tout were there for a Notre Dame team that blocks the fewest shots in the ACC.
That was a meeting at the summit. A nice pocket pass from Hunter to Welling, but you mentioned it. I believe it's Kaler who got a little arm on that one as well.
Tout got credit. You know, in the NFL, players can get a half sack. It should be a half block each. Welling is fouled. Will this be a continuation?
Oh, that's a bucket. Love the stick to it of Welling splitting the defenders, coming down to try to keep him away from the rim. Tout a little late trying to get there to take him away, gets to the opposite side of the basket and uses the glass the conventional way.
Kaler's hit with his second foul. A few seconds after he may have gotten a little piece of Welling. He gets a lot of him here. He'll stay in the game for now with 2. Welling converts his second three-point play, and he leads the way with 7 for Clemson. Logan Imes. 6 for 10 for Notre Dame, but they turn it over again. Kaler throws it light to Porter.
When you can see when the reserves come into the game for the Fighting Irish, they're not as adept at handling the pressure that Clemson puts on you defensively, and there's no drop-off from Clemson when they go to the bench.
Clemson leading the ACC in bench points per game. Gets a missed 3 from Hunter.
So now you look at it, it's actually the starting lineup for the Tigers on the floor right now, playing against a number of the reserves.
Logan Imes, nice move inside for Imes. He follows up a scoreless game Saturday with an early 5.
And Imes becoming much more aggressive, as everyone really has without Burton on the floor, having to expand their roles on the offensive end.
Godfrey drives it into the brick wall of Tout. Godfrey to the right hand, draws a foul against Tout. That's his second, and he becomes the 3rd Notre Dame big with 2 first-half fouls.
So when you say Godfrey runs into the brick wall of Tout, does that mean a brick wall is running into another brick wall?
Those 2 guys are alone, and you mentioned it. Micah Shrewsbury told his team, you got to feel that first tuck-in from R.J. Godfrey. 6'7", 240 senior. They felt a couple already as Godfrey hits the first.
And Ryder Frost going to check into the game. As you mentioned, the foul trouble up front. Frost had 25 points in his first 2 games with the Fighting Irish.
And in the next 10, 5.
He's only got 5 points.
Which, by the way, all came against Houston.
Yes.
Well, go figure. The only team he scored against in the last 10 is the best defensive team in America the last half decade.
I mean, but I can only imagine, like, you score 15 in your debut. I mean, you got to be feeling pretty good about things. And back it up with a double-figure game in game 2, and then all of a sudden, you don't score again.
Haralson's been out for a little while here for Notre Dame, and he's going to come to the scorers table right now with a 4-point Clemson lead.
Well, the offense has stalled with Haralson on the bench, and a lot of it has to do with Clemson being able to ratchet up his pressure, especially on the basketball and the ball handler after scores.
Off a missed 3 by Muhammad. Buckner is cut off on the baseline. Clemson 8 for 17 to start. Has only turned it over one time. Notre Dame's out shooting them, but they've turned it over 5. And that ball is in. Got deflected in for a goal 10. The bucket good anyway for Buckner. A great feed by Godfrey. And Carson Tout only 1 foul. Haralson's been great, Corey, but Clemson only 1 turnover, has a 6-point lead.
Well, and when you consider, look at the 3 white jerseys up front, the pressure. Wallin doing a nice job of pressuring Haralson, but he's prepared for it. Clemson was really able to take a lead in this game when Haralson goes to the bench off of a number of turnovers because the Fighting Irish weren't unable to handle the pressure.
And Shrewsbury only 2 points early, only 2 shots. She has been well defended. For to shoot Imes. Switch out of the freshman Thompson. Imes gets by him. Imes gets it in. 7 points for Logan Imes, a 3.7 per game score.
And veteran move by Imes, recognizing with 4 seconds he had more than enough time to be able to get to the rim. Didn't have to force a bad shot from the perimeter.
Buckner into Godfrey. R.J. Godfrey barrels it home. 7 points for Godfrey coming off of the second highest scoring game of the year, 17 on Wednesday.
And Ryder Frost, the next in line to field that duck in by R.J. Godfrey, as Godfrey was able to finish without much resistance.
Shrewsbury has really not been able to shake free for a clean look. Hasn't attempted a 3 yet. Imes a deep one. There's Wallin for Clemson. Notre Dame without an offensive rebound in the game. Step back 3. No good from Johnson. There's Shrewsbury. Finally gets a look and missed it. Got a hard screen by Jai to spring it. Thompson for 3. That will not go. The whistle mercifully stops this brick barrage.
Debbie Antonelli in the building. You two will be calling that game tomorrow?
No, I'm not doing it.
You're not calling that game?
No, Mark Neely will be.
Oh, Mark Neely's calling that game with Debbie. Okay, well, you and Debbie, you know, did the doubleheader at Clemson.
Game Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah, okay. It was a doubleheader.
We did doubleheader last week. It's all very confusing.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we did a doubleheader at Clemson last week.
No, we did a doubleheader at NC State and UNC last week. And then we were at Clemson Wednesday. And then we're both here today. She's not working. She's just sitting 5 seats down from you.
Well, I mean, she is a, you know, when not on air, a Clemson fan. you were unaware of that.
I'm calling her out.
No, I mean, again, she is.
Debbie.
Did you not know about Debbie?
Of course I know about this. Debbie and I worked 100 games in a row until today. Travel against Buckner. I thought you were going to say Debbie is a hoops junkie. She's not working, and she's still
absolutely that. She definitely is that.
1 o'clock tomorrow. Debbie will be there. And it'll be a great game. North Carolina and Notre Dame, 2 good ones in the ACC. Duke, which is 5-0 in the league, and Stanford, 4-1. At 5 Eastern. 7-point lead for the Tigers here. Notre Dame with 6 turnovers, shooting 53%. Haralson knocked away by Porter, who had a career-high 4 steals Wednesday and already has 2.
And a great job by Porter, really, in the passing lanes right there, close enough to Shrewsbury to get the deflection, but able to disrupt the offensive possession for the Fighting Irish.
Really like Porter's improvement. Transfer from Middle Tennessee. He's been a lot more active defensively of late. Gets into Shrewsbury here. Too late. It's a 3 for Braden, his first of the game.
And the size of Braden Shrewsbury allows him to be able to shoot over a smaller defender, especially trying to trail him off of a screen.
Porter. Buckner for Wallin. Missed it in the corner. Rebound to Jai. 3 rebounds off the bench for Kevin Jai. And Shrewsbury will have that catch negated by an offensive foul.
Braden Shrewsbury, a little chase action, going away from it and then getting it back. The nice screen by Tout, enough to free him up to use his size to shoot over the top of a smaller Porter trying to catch up to him. And you see the three-point field goal leaders throughout this season thus far. Braden Shrewsbury second with 48, also second in percentage to Jakari White of Virginia, who has been out but shooting 50% from beyond the arc.
Shrewsbury had an 8-3 game earlier in the year against Evansville. 30-26 the Clemson lead. That foul was the third on Kebajai. He's still in this game. 3 first-half fouls with 4.5 to go. Welling's going to go right at him, and Jai goes straight up. Good defense by the senior, who came over with Micah Shrewsbury from Penn State. And a travel called against Tout. Now Ace Buckner trying to poke the ball away from him, and Anthony Eads has to get in between the two.
But it's amazing when you see that. Remember Micah Shrewsbury commented to us earlier today about Tout is like the big brother. And everyone feels better when the big brother's around. And again, Tout taking a little exception to Ace Buckner trying to swipe the basketball away from him as he's trying to explain to the official that he didn't travel, even though it was called a travel.
The 8th Notre Dame turnover. Hunter cuts. Got the feed from the big up top and left it short. Clemson has missed its last 5. Shrewsbury 3 is well short.
I believe Porter got a piece of that one.
And deflected a ton of passes. Might have tipped that shot as well. Wallin keeps his pivot foot down. Misses. Rebound Shrewsbury. And he was out of bounds when he got the ball.
Extremely well when you consider throughout his career here, they're 6-6 without Marcus Burton. But this year, 3-2. And a lot of that is because of the emergence of Jalen Haralson at the point guard position. And not only because of what they do offensively, I think there may be a better defensive team because of the size, and there's no mismatches without Burton on the floor. However, Micah Shrewsbury made it very clear to us, no, he doesn't have another player that can guard the basketball the way Burton does.
And they don't have a timeline for his return yet. 4-point Clemson lead. Tigers have not hit from the field in over 3 minutes. Porter into the shot clock heave, draws the iron. And it's off of Welling, out of bounds to Notre Dame.
But that's a great example of what Notre Dame can do defensively, simply because with the size along this lineup, you can switch. And when you switch, there's no mismatch. So at Haralson with the point guard at 6'7", you got Shrewsbury at 6'4", 6'5". Everyone else is 6'8" and up on the floor. And so there's no differentiator when it comes to mismatches on the block, but also these guys can guard on the perimeter.
Haralson hadn't shot it in a while. He gets fouled here by Wallin, just 3rd on Clemson.
And listening into Coach Crean's message from studio, Clemson only 2 fouls. You got to attack the basket, put some pressure on the officials to be able to get to the rim. Jalen Haralson, I'm not sure he heard Coach Crean, but I did. But Jalen recognizing that and getting right to the rim, putting that pressure on to be able to get to this free throw strike.
63% free throw shooter out of Anderson, Indiana. The recruiting ranking era, he's the highest ranked recruit ever at Notre Dame, 19th overall.
Because there have been some guys recruited here who have probably been the best players in the country or close to it, but they were not in the ranking system. You go back and you think, of course, Adrian Dantley, recruited by the gentleman you got to meet today.
That's right.
Digger Phelps along the sideline. And of course, the great LaFonso Ellis was a top 5 prospect in the country when he was coming out of high school.
Godfrey into Tout. Godfrey wins it with the left hand this time and becomes the Tigers' first double-figure scorer of the game.
Nice play there by Randall Godfrey, not even working on going back to that right hand, but using the left hand, showing his development. We talked about the Fighting Irish and how retention and development is such a huge part of their program. How about R.J. Godfrey developing in the Clemson program, spending a year at Georgia, and then recognizing there's no place like home, heading back to the Tigers.
The orange slippers still fit for Godfrey. This is going our way.
I thought I had some action.
Always shot ready, but it was a little short. 3rd Clemson turnover.
The nice trap on the interior. and waiting for Godfrey when he was able to get to play one-on-one, gets to that left hand and able to finish over the top.
Porter fouls Shrewsbury on a cut. R.J. Godfrey said to Brad Brownell, and this is a great piece in the Charleston Post and Courier, that when he left to go to Georgia, he told Brad Brownell he loved him and it was part of a business deal. The reality of college sports these days. He started every game at Georgia last year, boomerang back home to Clemson. He said, I took for granted Brad Brownell's philosophies the first 2 years, how they've helped me in life. And he has been a real leader, real focal point. The team with so many new faces. Kaler off the bobble. May not have deserved it, but he got it.
But here's the best part about it, and I doubt we have it. The reaction from Michael Shrewsbury once Kaler took the shot, he immediately just put his hands on the top of his head. Like, what are you doing? And that's one of the no, yes shots.
Porter answers with a rattled-in three. Second three for Jestin Porter, who's got 8. And Clemson, which has led most of the way, is back up 6. Haralson attacking. Into Wallin, the Utah transfer. Haralson leaves it short. Wallin grabs a rebound. And the final minute and change of a first half that's been controlled by the visitors. Porter, shot fake, drives it and gets fouled. That's on the way up. A 2-shot foul going against Notre Dame.
The cut, the bobble, and then the one-legged fall away. But during this entire, my bad, whenever you say my bad, when you made the shot, you can only imagine. I just wish we had the reaction from Micah Shrewsbury. He immediately, once Color went to shoot the basketball, put his hands on top of his head, and he's still going to be subbed out, even though he made the shot. And having a conversation with Coach Shrewsbury.
He didn't want to look at it. Great job, never again. Cathedral High School, Brady Kaler, so he shares that with Micah Shrewsbury, a couple of Indiana natives, same alma mater.
Life as a freshman. That's it. It's life as a freshman, and coaches love them, and you got to live with those type of plays, even though it didn't end up being a mistake.
Right. Shrewsbury. Porter jumps out to stop a potential 3. Imes driving. Imes leans in. Couldn't get the roll. Offensive rebound to Tout. He sticks it up and in. The first offensive rebound of the game for Notre Dame.
And Tout, one of the best in the country defensively and offensively on the glass, leads the ACC in offensive rebounding, over 3 per game, with his first second chance points of this one.
Leading active rebounder in all of Division I, Northern Arizona, for 4 years. 10 seconds in the half. Porter on a cut. He scores it. What a sweet stroke from Jestin Porter, who's got a dozen.
But left enough time for a quality look.
Cole Serta banks it home. Well, if there was no backboard, Notre Dame might be down 20. It's their 4th bank in the second half. One more Saturday night in early January from Purcell Pavilion with a 5-point Clemson lead and an early Tiger foul. Starting 5s are out for both teams. Imes, Haralson, Shrewsbury, Sundra, and Tout. For the Irish, Dylan Hunter, who picked up that foul. Porter, Godfrey, Wallin, and Carter Welling had 7 points, 3 assists. Clemson 5-man in the first half. Knocks this ball over the scores table.
And how about this? Notre Dame with a 7-5 bench points advantage. Clemson comes into the game the #1 bench scoring team in the ACC, close to 33 points per game. They only had 5 bench points in this one, and that's one of the strengths of this Clemson Tiger team, is that they score and they have so much strength in numbers.
Only Ace Buckner of the 5 reserve Tigers scored. 34 from the starters. Imes had 7 in that first half. Good drop off for Tout. He was blocked but fouled.
And a nice job by Tout to allow Dylan Hunter, who was trying to block the shot from behind, to fly by. Nice drop off by Imes, as you mentioned, the pocket pass, but as Hunter flies by, Tout is able to go up strong, and Welling comes in with the foul.
So Carson Tout put his first 2 free throws off the glass. One of them went in.
I love that. Bill Covington Jr. going over, having a conversation with Carson Tout. And again, I'm sure it had something to do with conversation, a little talking, whatever it may be. But there's no technical foul. There's none of that. It's just a simple conversation. That's the thing that you love most about experienced officials. They understand how to take care of a problem before it becomes a problem.
You don't think Bill reminded him, now you can use the backboard here?
No, I don't think that had anything to do with it. I don't think BC is giving out free throw shooting tips, and if so, Tout did not listen.
1 for 2 again. Welling floats it home, and Clemson has had a big night from the junior transfer to Utah Valley, Carter Welling. Leading rebounder, second in steals, tied for the team lead in blocks, and scoring just under 10 a game. And a nice, impactful transfer out of the WAC. Haralson into Wallin. A lot of contact there and no foul. Up ahead, Porter. Round 3 for Clemson. Notre Dame rushes back in transition. Jestin Porter on a step back. Finds Hunter for 3. It's good. Dylan Hunter. And Clemson has its largest lead of 9.
I was talking with player development coach Terrell McIntyre, Clemson legend, earlier, and I asked him, I said, does Dylan Hunter need to be more aggressive on the offensive end of the floor? He told me straight up, CA, he's doing exactly what Brad is asking him to do and running the team.
Shooting at 41% from 3, Hunter. First 3 years was 27%. 9-point lead, missed 3 by Shrewsbury, and here's Clemson with Hunter again. Wallin set up for 3. And Tout grabs the rebound. 6th of the game for Tout. 1,241st of his career. Most of the
headbutt right there between
players. Yeah,
it's Tout and Welling.
2 guys with a similar headbands, similar mops of hair. Eric Sundro, who's limited to a few minutes in that first half with foul trouble, missed a 3.
Sundro taking on the responsibility of having to defend R.J. Godfrey. Well, that's part of that's a scouting report turnover right there. We heard Micah Shrewsbury and his staff talk about these guys are trying to play off the bounce when they catch the ball at the top of the key. They're not really trying to go side to side. That time Imes is able to get in and disrupt the drive from Welling.
Imes with the ball right now, skips it to Sundra. Didn't want to shoot the 3. Imes will. Imes is everywhere. 10 points, just 2 shy of a career high already.
And the adjustment to get Imes into the starting lineup was a defensive move, but it's been an offensive push here for Micah Shrewsbury today.
His 3rd straight after 13 off the bench. A cutting Hunter will bank it in. Clemson uses the window, and 2 buckets in the second half for Dylan Hunter.
And I like Dylan Hunter playing a little more aggressively because he is the 3rd leading scorer on this team, and it's the returning, all the returning points. So he's the guy that understands the culture as to what Brad Brownell wants, that Clemson grit, as they call it.
8-point lead for Clemson. Haralson spinning. There's contact and a foul against Wallin. It's his 2nd. Haralson will shoot 2.
The nice job by Sundra finding Imes, who relocates, able to knock down the 3. And on the other end, Dylan Hunter, who just knocked down the 3 of his own, now attacking the basket, able to finish through a little bit of contact high off the glass. And no, it wasn't a floater.
Did I say it was a floater?
You probably did.
No. It's just reflexive for you.
You did say someone floats at home earlier.
But not a floater.
Okay. Oh, that's different.
It is different. I've worked with you enough. I don't want to wake up the beast that is the floater, Corey Alexander. The dueling duos today, 22 apiece for Godfrey and Porter. Haralson and Imes. Surprising duo for Notre Dame in terms of Logan Imes and his 3.7 a game. He's got 10. Haralson now 13. Ace Butner has come off the bench along with Nick Davidson for Clemson. Hunter and Welling to the bench. Butner's pass deflected, found its way to Godfrey. Butner spots up for three, way too strong. It's going to stay with Clemson with 7 to shoot. Tigers led by 5.5 have extended it to 7 football home games. The Bears are playing, by the way, in a little bit against the Packers. That guy's going to be dialed in. So who you got? You got the Steelers at home underdog, and Aaron Rodgers, or the Texans on the road on Monday?
You know, I've got way too many friends and family members as the shot clock goes off. Ace Buckner not recognizing it, to the dismay of Brad Brownell along the sideline. But I've got too many friends and family that are Steelers fans. But Mike Tomlin is from the great state of Virginia. And even though I'm a Cowboy fan, I root for Mike Tomlin, so I'm going with the Steelers.
All right.
Even though the Steelers faithful were very rude to my guy Mike Tomlin earlier this year. And I would love to see him win a Super Bowl and then go take one of these other jobs.
What do you think? Go to the Browns after win the Super Bowl? Turned it over in the backcourt. Shrewsbury. There's his dad. Micah Shrewsbury's Irish have trailed most of the game. They've turned it over 10 times, and Dad will take out his son.
And one thing about Micah Shrewsbury, he's going to coach Braden harder than he does everyone else. I was fortunate to be around Coach Shrewsbury when he had a conversation with Jim Boeheim about coaching your child. And again, Coach Boeheim gave him some tips, some wisdom. And Micah Shrewsbury absolutely coaches Braden as hard as he possibly can. And the younger Shrewsbury is on the way next year.
Fine finish at the other end by Jestin Porter. Clemson's lead has been stretched to 9 here. Porter's got 14, shooting at 5 for 7. Clemson's been hot in the half. Kaler. Haven't gotten Haralson a good look in a while, Notre Dame. His 4 made field goals were all early. Here's Imes. Pass knocked away by Porter. Finds its way to Kaler, who missed it. Almost another broken basket for Brady. Instead, Clemson can get its first double-figure lead of the game. On a back down, Davidson. Double team comes. Whips it out to Porter. Godfrey's got the offensive rebound. Went right over the top of Notre Dame's Haralson. Now Davidson. He misses a 3. Another offensive rebound for Godfrey, and he is fouled. Menacing the backboard, R.J. Godfrey draws a foul against Haralson.
But when you look at the lineup of the Irish, it's a smaller lineup right now in comparison to what Clemson has on the floor. And even though Tout is on the floor, he's away from the basket defending Davidson, which leaves R.J. Godfrey on the interior with a much smaller defender trying to keep him off the offensive glass. Back-to-back offensive rebounds for Godfrey to keep that possession alive.
Godfrey will take a seat. Wallin as well. Welling back in the game, but a Johnson, and Porter gets free. Shook in off a cut, and Micah Shrewsbury is furious. And the inflamed Irish head coach takes a timeout. Largest lead for Clemson. Notre Dame
right into the game.
Clemson's got its largest lead. Micah Shrewsbury called a timeout, and now his Notre Dame team has to hang it up and see what the rest of tonight brings. Ace Buckner gets hit with his first foul. Largest lead for the Tigers. Notre Dame has not scored in more than 2 minutes.
But similar to the first half, when Jalen Haralson goes to the bench, that's when Notre Dame struggles on the offensive end of the floor. Only 5 points for the Irish in this second half.
2 more from Kaler on the putback, pushed in. Freshman out of Fishers makes it 50-41. Clemson trying to go 4-0 back-to-back years in the ACC. They've never started 4-0 in a conference in back-to-back seasons. Welling is fouled by Jai.
That's going to be the 4th on Jai.
13:35 to go. One of Micah Shrewsbury's staff members is going to inform him that's 4 on Jai, and Notre Dame will get Carson Tout off the bench late to replace him. Jestin Porter takes a seat for Clemson. Hunter back on the floor. 3-4 Buckner in the air, no good. Notre Dame trying to push its way back into the game. Led 6-2 early. Clemson has led just about the whole way since. Imes. Young lineup on the floor here for Notre Dame, along with Shrewsbury and Tout. Shrewsbury will drive it with 4 to shoot. Find Kaler, kicks it. Cole Serta, clean look. In and out. Rebounded by Kaler on the glass again offensively. Kaler's second chance will roll off, and Tout is held by Welling. So a relentless energy in pursuit of the ball keeps possession for the Irish.
And you gotta love the energy, as you talked about, the pursuit of going after the offensive rebound. Serta gets a good look, unable to get it to go, but Kaler comes back in, shot denied, goes back at it, unable to get it to go, and then it's Tout with another offensive rebound opportunity, picking up the foul against Welling.
Notre Dame just keeps trucking on the offensive glass. Down by 9. Serta, window, rebound Welling. Great all-around game for Carter Welling tonight. We got a foul way away from the play.
Going to get Kaler on that one, trying to keep Davidson from getting post position.
Third on Brady Kaler, and Haralson will return with 12:33 to go. Notre Dame down 9. Inbound is to Welling. Three guards for Clemson right now, Welling and Davidson. Buckner follows his own miss up. The putback is there on the weak side. Carter Welling into double figures.
And Carson Tout lost a shoe. Brad Brownell encouraging his guys and loves the grit, the toughness from his team. Both these coaches talk to us about the toughness that they have within their roster. They may not be the most talented teams, but they know that they're going to get a fight from these guys each and every night.
Haralson fouled by Johnson. You've seen a lot of the league early already. Fair to say, Clemson from a talent level, not in the top of the league, but from a togetherness, consistent level, is as good as anybody in the league.
That's very accurate. The culture. Again, you've got the longest tenured ACC coach on the sideline. And to my recollection, he's never won an ACC Coach of the Year, which is a travesty. But the fact that this guy's been such a good coach for so long and never won an ACC Coach of the Year. But Brad Brownell's not a guy that's looking for credit. He's looking for results. And he's been getting them from this program. 87 and 33 over the last 3+ seasons.
Buckner is floater. No, the trophy last year should have been split 3 ways between Pat Kelsey, Joe Shire, and Brownell. Those 3 teams dominated the league. Great finish by Haralson, and a free throw coming as Haralson back in the game, makes an instant impact, and sent
earlier this year, then went on to beat Georgia in the championship game in overtime of that one. So all those wins, Brad Brownell thinking to himself, keep on winning.
Yes.
WVU.
Clemson's got a lot of good wins already. Came into the day with 6 wins in either quad 1 or 2, tied for the 10th most in D1. Very, very, very early bracketology. Joe Lenardi says they're looking like a 6 seed right now. They've got a good resume. This would be a quad 1 win on the road at Notre Dame. They lead it by 8.
Yeah, Notre Dame at the net 60 is a nice job by Kaler coming over and blocking the jump shot. And again, that's not a small guy in Whalen who he's able to go up there and get that one.
6 rebounds and a block for Brady, who's made a bunch of good plays today. A shot fake at 3.
Oh, Brady's feeling good right now. You knew he was shooting that, and it was a bad shot, and he's probably going to come out of the game.
Clemson knew he was shooting it too.
But he was feeling it, and he's going to come out of the game. Garrett Sundra on his way to the scores table now.
Logan Shrewsbury, the first face he saw was going to be the next guy in the game. Porter, a game-high 16, slicing through, up for grabs, and it stays with Clemson. Yeah, he knows it.
Yes, and he's going to get a private conversation with Coach Shrewsbury. And again, this is the life of a freshman. The reality behind it, you've been the guy your whole life, right? You can take any shot you want, and then you come to Notre Dame. You're talking about one of the top 8 winningest basketball programs in the history of the game.
Davidson, a rattled 3 set up by Hunter, and Clemson's lead is 11 again.
But you don't get to do what you want as a freshman. It's very, very rare that that's the case. And again, Kaler is going to be a really good player and learning his way around the college basketball.
Davidson rebounds the Haralson miss. He just had the first bench points of the half for Clemson. Remember, Buckner had all 5 of their bench points in the first half.
For a team that comes in averaging over 32 bench points per game, which leads the ACC, is simply about strength and numbers for the Tigers this year. They beat you with their depth.
Godfrey
pass.
Tripled out of a double, found Wallin. Clemson has not been great from 3 today, 6 out of 23. Still lead by 11, and Porter's got another steal. Jestin all the way for 2 more. Clemson steals leader. Jestin Porter's got 7 in the 2 games this week.
And that's 11 turnovers for the Fighting Irish compared to only 5 for Clemson. So Clemson's defense has been very disruptive throughout this game.
Haralson pulls up for a 3.
Tell you what, this guy is an elite rebounder. The numbers don't tell the story. Porter getting a hand in the passing lane and then tracking it down. Shrewsbury not adding insult to injury by fouling Porter after the steal. And Jestin Porter up to 18 points.
You said the numbers don't tell the story for Tout?
No.
He's the leading rebounder in Division I active rebounder. That's a good number.
No, it's a great number. But the number doesn't show how he goes and gets them. If you go back and look at that rebound, his back is to the basket. He's avoiding trying to go to the basket. He's getting fouled, but he's grabbing it with one hand and cuffing it. Being the leading rebounder doesn't show the way that he goes after it.
He's 6'8". He's a big guy. He's not 6'11". He's not 7 feet. He often does, especially in this league now, have to go against bigger players.
But he's still averaging close to 11 rebounds per game.
The 3rd leading assist man, about 2 a game, 7 points, 10.5 rebounds. Hit 1 free throw, and it's a 12-point Clemson lead with 8:40 to go. Davidson with a slow motion drive into Tout. But 1-footer is short.
Tout's physicality forced Davidson into a fall away shot. That's not the toughness that Brad Brownell is looking for.
Notre Dame -3 on the glass. They've only lost the rebounding battle twice. Those were in losses to Kansas and Houston. Kaler gets hugged up.
So when I say numbers don't tell the story, this counts as 1. It doesn't even count as a rebound. But look at that. That is elite effort, timing, athleticism. So again, now take it back. Do numbers tell the story? He doesn't get a rebound for that because he gets fouled. But he
got the rebound and then he got fouled.
No. They called the foul on that. I don't know if he gets the rebound for that one.
If only there was some way we could find out. We'll just have to use our imagination. Kaler misses the front end of the 1-1. They thought transferring up from Northern Arizona that rebounding skill would remain as Johnson Misses a three. Micah Shrewsbury said rebounding translates at every level, and it has, from the Big Sky to the ACC.
It really does. That's one of the things that Micah Shrewsbury, with his NBA experience, of course, spending time with the Boston Celtics, that's one of the main things that they talk about at the NBA level. Rebounding transcends the level you're playing. If you have the desire to go get it, you often will. And of course, Tout has that, and he also has a couple buckets.
7 and 10 right now. A block and a steal for Tout. 11th time in 16 games he's got 10 rebounds. Johnson passes up an open three. Hunter finds Godfrey, who scores it. He's got 12 points on 4 of 5 shooting from the field.
I love the way Dylan Hunter's played throughout this game, especially when he's attacking the basket, dropping off those pocket passes to his big guys who are willing recipients, and Godfrey able to put that one in for 2.
Hunter, the leading assist to turnover ratio in Clemson history, has a couple of assists, 0 turnovers tonight. Imes for 3. That rainbow will go.
And Dylan Hunter upset with his teammate for not switching out on that one and allowing Imes to get an open look when he got hit with the screen.
In his 73rd career game, Imes has a career-high 13 points. Godfrey sets up Porter. Way too strong. And Serta got pushed by Johnson. I think Bill Covington realized he couldn't just call that out of bounds. So more free throws coming for Notre Dame, trying to hang around with Clemson up 9.
Clemson in control, and the guy that's controlling the pace is Dylan Hunter, dropping the... Some of the athletic ability that is shown in those meets, unreal.
It's among the leading sports for people at home going, oh my God, how did they do that?
Yes, exactly.
The training, the repetition.
Yeah, because the average
your
person,
son unfortunately did not have.
The average person can't do what they do.
Cal, by the way, national runners-up a couple of years ago, part of that beat as well. That's after this game. 6.5 or so to go. 7-point lead for Clemson. Porter's had a big scoring night. Haralson has shot it well for Notre Dame. Tigers looking for a quad 1 win on the road. And a 4-0 start in the ACC with 3 road games. Brad Brownell's going to take a timeout.
Well, it was this.
Under 6 to play. Porter with 18. Godfrey behind him with 14. Imes can get it to go. And Godfrey was going to be called for a foul. The tug on Tout, first on Godfrey.
And once again, it's because of the effort with Tout going after every shot that goes up. R.J. Godfrey, who's as strong as anyone in the ACC, still having his hands full dealing with Tout on the offensive glass.
Tout is 3 for 6, all off the glass. Getting more comfortable.
Well, that one definitely looks better than the first one throughout the day. That just really caught me off guard. I thought it slipped. But now that he's taken his 8th free throw attempt of the game, you recognize that is his style. And now 5 of 8, increasing the percentage for the Fighting Irish, who have been struggling from the line, not just today, but throughout this entire season.
First time Tout's hit both free throws tonight. His 4 trips to the line. They're hanging around, the Fighting Irish, down by just 7. Knocked away. Tout tries to call timeout in the air, and he got it. Carson Tout with a takeaway and the aerial timeout. And they've got the ball after a Carson Tout steal and timeout.
And Notre Dame no stranger to deficits and being able to come back from those deficits. They've done it twice this season already, so when thinking double-digit deficits. So this is a team that is more than capable, especially on their home floor, of pulling off a elite comeback.
Imes. Pass up the shot. It's knocked away. Porter in the cookie jar again. He gets fouled hard by Shrewsbury.
They're going to go over and review this one. Isaac Barnett already giving the signal.
Was called a comment foul. The officials will see if this.
And oftentimes what comes into play is the result. And that's, I think there's a strong chance that this one gets upgraded to a flagrant 1. And when you consider Of course, you can't measure intent.
Bill Covington is at the mic, but not going to. Oh, there he is.
We have a common foul on Black 11, reviewing for potential upgrade.
All right. Bill Covington, Isaac Barnett, Anthony Eads. Remember, the call on the floor is a common foul.
So you have Shrewsbury coming in with what would be considered a windup. And I'm not sure that they will deem that as necessary or a basketball play. So watch the right arm of Shrewsbury as he goes. I do believe this will be upgraded to a flagrant one. And again, it is a basketball play. He's trying to get to the ball and knock it away. But because of the contact and the result, this most likely is upgraded to a flagrant one.
Part of the flagrant one criteria can be an excessive or unnecessary act. Now, he doesn't come all the way down. That's only because his arm hits Porter's shoulder and bounces back up.
But the body also runs directly into Porter, knocking him out of bounds. I think that will be the excessive and unnecessary part. Also the push or hold from behind. And again, Shrewsbury is trailing Porter on that possession. So I do believe this will be upgraded to a flagrant one.
After review, we'll call it flagrant foul. 2 shots. Clemson, ball on the end line. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Please.
Anthony Eads just filled that in a little bit. He said, swinging a follow through a defenseless player. So flagrant one, as you imagine it would be upgraded, Corey. It's going to be 2 free throws for Porter, and Clemson will retain possession from there.
But how about the momentum shift? Notre Dame with the basketball down 7, an opportunity to get it to 5, even 4, which would be as low as they've had it throughout this game. But another steal, the 4th of the game for Porter, as he makes the 2 free throws to get to 20 points on the evening, and more importantly pushes the lead back out to 9. Clemson with the basketball, an opportunity to get it back to double figures.
Porter hit his season high 21 a week ago at Pitt. He's got 20 today, and in the interceding period, just 7 points Wednesday, but a career high 4 steals against SMU. So 3 terrific all-around games in a row in the last 8 days for Jestin Porter.
And he's tied that career high 4 steals still with 5 minutes remaining here in this contest.
Porter came to Clemson out of Middle Tennessee State. Sean Dixon, one of the Clemson assistants, knew him formerly at Middle Tennessee. And Jestin Porter has really fit his way into the system with his energy level, his activity defensively. He can make shots. 37% from 3 into the night. 2 more today. 2 for 6. Under 5 to play. Clemson has led the entire half. Porter inside on Shrewsbury, drops it off for Welling. It's bobbled, and it's going to be off of Notre Dame with 6 to shoot.
But that was great action offensively by Clemson. Not only do you use up 24 seconds on the shot clock, but also the ball moves from side to side, forcing Notre Dame to guard constant motion.
Runner into Godfrey. He's going to go at Tout. This has been a fun matchup to watch. Godfrey got it on the rim, rebounded by Imes. Imes on the floor with Serta, Kaler, Shrewsbury, and Tout. I haven't seen Haralson since the 9-minute mark. Imes short from 3, and Tout was all over Welling, who hit the deck. Carson Tout will pick up his 2nd.
And Tout, who forces so much physicality, this time he picks up the foul. And you can see that great call as he get the left arm wrapped around. I can't even tell who that was in the white jersey attempting
it was
to box him out.
I believe Carter Welling. Dow was arguing that he was being held first, but the officials didn't agree. It's the 5th foul on Notre Dame, and Jalen Haralson's in the game for the first time in about 5 minutes. Under 4 to play, Clemson by 9 in search of 3 road wins in its first 4 ACC games. Double team. Welling dribbles away from it. 3 to shoot here. Godfrey didn't realize it. He finds Porter, who's fouled with a second to go. They found it just in the nick of time. Godfrey's a little hobbled there. Might have banged.
Blue painted area on the floor, and they have not been able to do that. It is a 30-14 advantage for Clemson in points in the paint throughout this game. And when you look at this Clemson team, it is a more experienced group than what you're seeing with Notre Dame, who's playing a lot of young players. And that physicality oftentimes comes to experience. And that was the first line that Micah Shrewsbury told his team, is there's no substitute for experience. Another turnover and another steal for Porter.
A career high 5th. He's got 24. Jestin Porter in complete command, and Clemson's lead is 13. Haralson spinning and winning for 2.
That's the 3rd turnover of the game for Braden Shrewsbury, and a couple of them have just been not been able to catch the basketball, as he is subbed out by Kaler. And it has not been Braden Shrewsbury's night. Only 5 points, 2 of 7 from the field, and you're talking about a guy who comes in averaging close to 12 points per game.
At 21 Saturday at Cal. The game before that, he did not score at Stanford, so a real roller coaster start to the conference for him. Wild pass, Porter collects it. Porter guarded by Imes. Porter steps back, long 2, is buried. Jestin Porter unconscious with 26 now.
And this is uncharacteristic as to what we've seen from the Clemson Tigers throughout this year. Rarely do they have a 20-point scorer, one guy who really carries the offense. But Jestin Porter has been just that. Another steal. Uh-oh.
Up top, Godfrey got it back from Porter. A delicious.
Again, you know, players have, he mentioned the Georgia game where you've got 3 to 4 players on the Clemson roster from the state of Georgia. Well, now you have coaches from Indiana when you consider Donlin as well as Brad Brownell. And this is a homecoming for them, a place where they've struggled throughout their tenure at Clemson. And so a rewarding, what should be win for the Tigers with 2:06 remaining now, up 15. And Coach Donlin up with Coach Brownell, both guys up front of the bench, making sure they finish this one off.
Yeah, they both got family members and friends behind the bench. Brad Brownell said, my family's from the other side of the state, but I'll still have some folks here tonight. You mentioned it's a building he's only won in once.
Yeah, and his sister's here. We were on the elevator together coming to the game. And so he told me his sister would be coming down. And then so I see people on the elevator with Clemson gear on. And I looked at her and I said, you wouldn't happen to be Brad Brownell's sister, would you? And she was just so surprised. They favor, I could tell.
Yes. Brad Brownell, graduate of DePaul, where Micah Shrewsbury coached a decade later. Porter. Hunter into the shot clock. Gets it to Welling, who banks it a 3.
So really what it is, it's this end of the floor.
That's it.
You notice we haven't really had much bank action going on outside of a couple of tout free throws on the left side. But the bank has been open to our right throughout this game.
It's the right bank. As Serta buries a 3 on the other side. Notre Dame is going to come up short here. A week off in between their devastating loss at Cal see how they would respond.
Well, I think the bigger issue with this one is not necessarily about the Notre Dame response as it is the opponent.
Yeah.
And you got to give the Irish with the basketball down 7. Opportunity to cut into the lead, get it to 5, maybe even 4 with a 3. They turn it over, the flagrant 1 foul, and the lead balloons for the Tigers ever since.
Well, Clemson has won 6 straight by an average of just 4.8 points per game. Brad Brownell said, I don't know if we're going to have a lot of blowout wins this year, as tight as the league is. And this was not a blowout the whole way, but Clemson has stretched its lead out little by little here in the second half, and it's going to be a comfortable final margin of victory. Mark Zachary getting some minutes here at the end of the game. The converted football player misses a layup, and that's going to do it. Clemson with the ball. Clemson will end the game +2 on the glass, +8 in the turnover column, and +15 the only column that matters. So for the first time, the Clemson Tigers start 4-0 in conference play in back-to-back years. They stretch their conference road win streak to 11, the second longest in the country behind only Houston